And we are finally live. It is middle of the Q2 session. Some people putting in their lap times, so those will be banker laps, and some people will be opting between the new soft tire or the old. As we have TVX Buzz doing a warm-up lap on those medium tires. And we've got 6 minutes left remaining in the session, and some people yet to put in their lap times. Con and Wine is one of them. But starting their flying lap, let's see what they could do as they go around the bend of turn 1. Very nicely from the AlphaTauri driver, getting a good exit, really putting the power down. And now, a very short straight now, down to turn 4 and 5. And they seem to be going quite nicely. And that was Oliver, I believe. They gone fastest of the session with a 121.6. Of course, we do expect faster lap times as hands at birth. A 121.6, nice stuff from the McLaren driver, but Khan and Wine could shortly top lap as they are currently on a flying lap, keeping it within track limits, which is very hard around Jeddah. Nope, we're in Qatar. Close to Jeddah, but not quite. Not quite. As now we've got Khan starting the main straight. What could they do as they put the power down, enabling that DRS, and now they are going across the line. It doesn't seem to be that fast, but it is fast enough for P5. And that is a safety for now for the AlphaTauri driver with a 122.4. And I'll also take this one and you could hear me. And now Carmen going across the gravel and validating their lap time, but that of course does not matter, as I believe they'd be rushing to the pit lane if they want to do a final lap. We have 16 corners around this 3.3 mile track, located in, of course, the regional name is Lusail, but it is in Qatar, of course, quite a small country. Maybe you'll see it. And we have 3 minutes left, as most people still opt in to stay in the pit lane. Some people who have not put in their lap times yet, of course, we Callum, Inza has been one of them, and then Liam. But they are currently on a flying lap, so that will probably soon change. They need to keep it within track limits. It's very hard around every corner. It's high speed around Jeddah. And let's see what Liam could do now as going around, I believe that was turn 7 very nicely. Nope, that was turn 4 and 5 very nicely. Now around turn 7, it's a tricky corner, of course. You really need to get your foot down, but also pick the best exit. Should say line, but anyway, now going through sector 2. They set the fastest sector 1 time for now. What could Liam do now? As we've only got one DRS straight, so more just a high speed corner around every single corner. High speed tracker. Completely lost my words on Monday. Oh, God bless me, it's only Monday. As backs now, they have retired from the session, so clearly confident in their 121.8 time, and they definitely have a right to be. And now Liam, across the lines they go. They snap second position from the back. A 121.7 solely guarantees them safety. It's a very nice lap time from Alfa Romeo, and they do retire in fact on track. And now most people on their out lap or on their flying lap, one person who really needs an improvement and really just needs a clean lap, if anything, is wee Callum in the Haas, and now going very high speed around turn 14, so They seem to be going quite nicely, and now they're going to be one of the first to put in their final flying lap. And what could it be for Wee Callum in the Haas, as they kept within track limits through turn 16, and now they go across the line up to P5 for the Haas. Is it good enough? A lot of people behind us still on their outlap, yet to start their final flying lap. I believe that was Dom putting it up to P6. Is it going to be good enough? We're going to see a lot of improvements, if anything, as we tick it down to 1 minute left in the session, and we've got MCL Reckon now. They seem to be going fast and keeping in it within, just within track limits through turn 14 and 13, and now through turn 15, and picking the line absolutely perfectly through turn 16, and now across the line they go. It looks very good from Aston Martin, and it is up to P9. It is barely an improvement in terms of everyone else's time. It looks like they might just be pushed down because Conan Wine is on an outlap, starting their flying lap now. And that was very late to cross the line from the AlphaTauri, and as I say that, I believe Oliver, in the meantime, have they topped the session, or was that before? I think they did top the session, but now we've got MPP Evans 1.1 seconds up on their time, so they're really flying through Sector 2. And now through turn 15, they seem to be controlling our Ferrari very nicely. And we can now take the checkered flag. We've got MPP Evans, I believe they're giving a tow to the Alpine behind, but for MPP Evans it is up to P1 with a 121.3, and that definitely guarantees them safety, as Loranga just behind them in P2. A lot of people completing their lap time, and that pushes Durdom down to P12. Their teammate Navleski Polak unable to improve enough, and they are now relegated down in P12. As it was the Ferrari of TVX Buzz improving up to P6, and that guarantees them safety, as the only driver yet to cross the line is Conan Wine. They seem to be on a flyer right now, and this pushes Tobiah Angus down to P11 and themselves now. I believe that was after P3, making it a double AlphaTauri appearance in Q3. They seem to be flying quite nicely. And it was quite a close cut-off margin between P10 and 11. There's about 0.05 of a second in that. And now as we get ready to start the Q3 session, clear skies, floods our air above Qatar, and now we've got still all 10 drivers left in the Q3 session, of course. Lewis decides who gets pole position. We've seen some mixed up running through Q1 and Q2, but this is the most important session for everyone in it now. Now we've got Alfa Romeo of Liam leading the pack and being the first one to go out of the pit lane on their outlap. We've got still some people yet to see movement. Conan is one of them. And F1 Rise as well, but that will soon change as we see the McLaren driver go out of the pit lane to start their outlap. Still yet nothing from Conan, but and Conan, if they go out now, they definitely want to steer clear of all those people on their flying lap and definitely not get a time penalty or a grid penalty for impeding. And we've got Liam now starting their lap, and let's take you through that lap as we've got the bend of turn 1. You want to carry some speed through that and then go to the inside and go out. Same thing for turn 2 really. Carrying a lot of speed through there as we've got turn 3 now. You want to go flat out, and it seems like Alfa Romeo has done that, slowing down for turn 4, really taking the inside line and cutting back out. And here's really a hairpin off turn 6. You want to really ride that outside curb and get the best exit you can, possibly putting your foot down as soon as you can, and that is what Alfa Romeo has done. Turn 7, I believe that was, very tricky, but they seem to have done it quite well. It's a high speed hairpin if you'd like. And we've got Alfa Romeo driver Liam Wolf now, all of the rest of the lap really more or less flat out as they go through turn 13 and 14 now. Turn 14 you could take flat out, but most drivers opt against it as the McLaren, I believe that was F1 Rise, backing out of the way behind their teammate now, who will surely give them a tow down the main straight. And now Liam, they go across the line. What is it? It's a 122.4, so it is a bank lap, so you've really got to keep that in mind. As now we've got Oliver shortly topping that with a 121.5, which was shortly topped by Ampute to 121.3 for the Ferrari in Qatar. Now we've got Wheat Allen being the next one to cross the line and giving a helping toe to TPX Buzz behind. Wheat Allen, what could it be? It is a 122.3, so of course not that fast, and I mean you do expect it with it only being banker lap times. And now F1 Rise to cross the line. It seems to be good from the McLaren, and it is up to P5. So a decent banker lap time compared to everyone else. But Kanin now. And those might just be new soft tyres. They are kind of glistening quite a bit. Now we've got Kanan starting their flying lap. We've got a lot of people opting to go into pit lane now. And Kanan will of course have like clean air to push ahead, not being slowed down by anyone else. Might as well take this time to run her through, build general track information of course, as we see track fin A's are getting larger and larger, and specifically in this region where we're racing, it is Arabia of course. We've got recent additions to the calendar being of course Saudi Arabia and now Qatar. So a lot of tracks in Arabia of course being added to the calendar, and of course Qatar, it's not a street track of course, it's recently built, I believe quite recently in 2013. Of course there are more street tracks than of course what you would normally have. I'm talking about those open course tracks really. Of course ideally drivers would be wanting to save a set for the race, but that might just be not possible, as Kanan, I believe that must have been a used set because it is a 122.0 Forza AlphaTauri. Of course we hope to be seeing improvements from all of this carrying on into, well, end of Q3 session. We don't have much time left, only 4 minutes, and everyone would of course be preparing their setup and preparing to go out. You might just have enough time to get a second lap time done, and that might be useful because Qatar of course it's very hard on the track limits, and I don't know if this is true, but I heard about 150% of flying laps actually get invalidated. So that is a very high percentage. As we see the McLaren, that is F1 Rise, I believe, being the first one to go out and start their outlap. And fuller drivers' nerves would be running high. Of course, not anyone I'd say in particular really set an impressive banker lap time. So everyone else, you could be first right now, and looking at Amputee Everett, you could be first right now, but push down to P10 maybe, if everyone else improves. And I believe that was most drivers using a used set, so I believe a few drivers would be carrying a soft tyre, and of course around Qatar there might be quite a few safety cars, as you've only got one main straight, so apart from that you might need to have all of your overtaking done through the high-speed corners, and that might just cause quite a huge collision. And now we've got F1 Rise crossing the line to start their flying lap and being the first one to do it. They might be caught up in a few outlaps, as we've got about 4 drivers ahead of them, and this might not be the best scenario, but of course it's their flying lap, they're gonna have to hurry. Riding out a curb for turn 2, they seem to be going quite nicely through sector 1, and what will it be as they go around 4 and 5. 5 you could do, of course, full throttle, but they haven't, but it doesn't really matter as they set the fastest sector 1 time. They seem to be finding some pace on what would be new soft tyres. And they cut across, I believe that was about turn 8. and they have invalidated their lap time, so they'll have to back out of that quite quickly. Or are they continuing? No, they'll have to back out, and that surely might just waste some of their ERS if they want to go on another lap. And that might just be the end of their qualifying, as they might not find some more improvements, as for Qatar you really need a full tank of ERS if you want to get through, but it seems like they're going again with only half the ERS, I believe it would be. Now we've got Amputievic leading the line of cars to put in their final flying lap, as I believe we've only got 30 seconds remaining left in the session, as we've got a McLaren of, who was it? It was F1 Rise, of course, going slowly, trying to rebuild their ERS. But ahead we've got Amputievic. They seem to be finding some pace, as now quite a short straight from turn 11 to turn 12, but they have set a purple lap time, and F1 Rise will not be making an improvement, as they seem to be parked on the apex of turn 16, and fast approaching behind is Amputievic. They're currently on provisional pole position. Could it be an improvement for the Ferrari, as they're quite skittish through turn 16, starting the main straight? I believe they're out of ERS, and now across the lines they go, and they extend their gap up front. But does Oliver have something to say about that? Yes they do, but only up to P3, as we've got Roranger now. They're in the front row of the grid, but just 5 slowly behind, as we've got Callum. They're currently P9, looking for an improvement, and it will not be, and still P9 for the Haas driver, as the van currently in P8. It's Karnen. Could they take pole position? No, only up to P7, and Vax going into pit lane as they invalidated their lap time, and Liam Wolf across the line. It's not an improvement for them, and we have Amputievic taking pole position by quite a bit as well to start the race, and we've got Roranger alongside them. And it will be Amputievic on pole position with a recorded time of 1:21.0, I believe it was. And in Qatar it is double trouble in Q3 for Ferrari, as they line up 1st and 5th, so that is very nicely done from the Ferrari team. As we now get ready to start the race, we've got a 2-minute break in place. And it is going to be overtaking and thrills in Tier 4. It's Monday, it's an evening, and it's nighttime in Qatar. It is dry to start the race. We've got the Ferrari on hard tyres. They won't have the best grip, but they got a good getaway as Rorangra, I believe that was, not getting the best getaway and already falling to P6. So not the best for them, as we've got the Alpine trying to move on the Ferrari, but we've got the Ferrari of TVX Buzz being attacked by the McLaren, who now goes side by side trying to stick it. But now we've got the Alpine Just 5 down the inside of the Ferrari, and they ban rear wheels, nearly spinning the Alpine out. And now we've got the Red Bull of Bax running wide, as we've got 3 wide, and they both run into gravel. That was the AlphaTauri, and who was it? I believe it was, or was it the Haas? I believe it was the Haas and the Mercedes. As now we've got a safety car in place and penalties are being handed out all over the grid, as we've got a penalty for Vax, who's currently running in P3, so that won't be the best for them, as Liam being a major benefiter in gaining 6 positions to put that Alfa Romeo up to P4, but that will change, as I believe they might have front wing damage from an incident with the Red Bull driver, as both now coming into the pit lane, and that will lose them a lot of positions, and track positions is very crucial since as, of course, Qatar, it's not much of an overtaking track, whereas it's only one straight. And now we've got Wee Callum into Haas. It's very disturbing for Haas in the start, as both of their cars now down in P18, and of course one has DNF, and that will be I'm a Wild Matt Tobias retiring in the pit lane. I believe Vax and Liam colliding caused the safety car to be called out. Now we've got the safety car for another lap. We've got 29 laps in Qatar, really medium length circuit, with our average lap time in the race being a 1 minute 25 seconds. And we might be seeing that, but not under safety car conditions, as we've got the Alfa Romeo really sticking to the side of the Red Bull. And you can really see who benefited the most with this graphic. And we've got 2 drivers retiring, only 18 remaining. And we've got first lap carnage once again in Tier 4. We've got Amputee Evips keeping the lead, and track position is so crucial around Qatar. Even if you have better pace than the person ahead of you, you might not be able to overtake, since only one DRS straight. You really need to save up your ERS for that, as we've got LaFerrari slowing down as the safety car is being called in this lap. And when will they go? You have to imagine at the end of turn 16. And now we've got Amputee Evips. Are they gonna go now? They are, but the Alpine will get a good run on them. And they're really leaving it late, in fact. And we've got carnage behind them, as we have debris flying all over the track. And we have got the McLaren pressing the Ferrari of TVX Buzz, as we've got double trouble. And behind we've got 2 cars running side by side. That's Aston Martin and McLaren. And we've got, I believe that was Alfa Romeo crashing, and Liam does not have a front wing once again. We've got the McLaren tailgate in TVX Buzz. They're looking to pull a move, and they have to back off making it into turn 4. And we've got Roranger losing positions. They seem to have left the lobby. They are ghosted. But we've got Oliver still on the back of TVX Buzz. They look to be pulling a move on the main straight probably. And we've got the top 2, I believe, are on hard tyres. So they're doing a good job. The top 3, in fact, on hard tyres. And Oliver and Kanin behind will be looking to pull a move off on all 3 of them. As we've got Just flies on the back of the Ferrari of Amputee Evips, but they won't be able to pull a move with DRS, but they might just send it down the inside of turn 1, which is what they'll do on the inside. Amputee Evips managing to stick it round the outside, and now TVX Buzz on the back of all of this. Getting a bad exit is TVX Buzz, and now leaving the door open for Oliver. Down into turn 4, they seem to have pulled the move off very cleanly from the McLaren driver. And we've got Kanen now being next to overtake TVX Buzz. They'll try to stick it round the outside, but Kanen not giving up just yet on pulling that move off. And now running round the outside and actually being kind of forced out by the Ferrari, but they have managed to pull a move off now. Into P4 AlphaTauri goes, and probably wanting to catch up with the top 3, 8 tenths behind now. Now we've got Oliver on the back of Just 5 into turn 1. They'll use some of their ERS down to 30% charge from the McLaren, and now pulling a move off down the inside, but Just 5 having a better exit on the outside, and now Oliver looks to stick it, trying to switch back on the Alpine and is on the tail of the Alpine, but unable to pull a move off just yet as Amputee Evips kind of extends their lead into P1. Now we've got Jesus up to P9 making a good recovery. And we've got the Alpine and Red Bull on the gravel. of turn 7, and it looks like Vax and Mr. K Wheeler have come together, and I believe that is both drivers probably out of contention as they fall about 5 seconds behind, and it looks like one or two of them might have front wing damage. Now we've got Oliver. They'll be looking to make a move. Just Spice, who will have less grip on those hard ties to defend, but up ahead we've got Just Spice pulling a move off their own on Amputievip, who is a sitting duck, and the McLaren trying to come together, and that is the Ferrari of Amputievip, who was running in P1 out. They banned rear tyres with, I believe it was, the McLaren of Oliver. And it looks like Amputievip is out after banning rear wheels with the McLaren. Now we've got no safety car being deployed, racing conditions, and Kanen looking to make a move past Just Spice on those hard tyres. They'll be struggling much more than the AlphaTauri is. And in the next few laps they might just make a move for it, as the Alpine runs across the curb of turn 13 pretty violently. Now we've got Kanen with a better exit down the main straight. They both go, as Kanen now pulling for a move onto Alpine, but behind them we have the Williams of Dom pulling a move onto, I believe it was, Ferrari of TVX Buzz, but ahead we've got Kanen now taking the lead of the race, having pulled ahead at turn 1, but we've got the Williams fighting to overtake from Oliver. Oliver sticks it round the outside of turn 2, and now will have a good chance to remain at P3 spot and push ahead on medium tyres compared to those hards of Dom. We've got Just Spice managing to stick to the DRS zone of Kanen, but for how longer, as they seem to be losing touch with P1. As behind we've got TVX Buzz. They fell P7, I do believe. Yes, they did fall in 2 positions. The big gain there is Dom now, moving from P14 to P4, and it might just get better as they're gonna enable a DRS. And into turn 1 they might already be ahead before the braking zone, and yes, they will, pulling themselves up to the podium spot after P3 on hard tyres. Very impressive from the Williams driver. They might have to sacrifice their quali pace for some race pace of their own. We've got Kanen now running in P1, 3-second time penalty for them. And that must be for corner cutting, as they seem to be losing a bit of grip on medium tyres, as those hards will now come to life at the end of their stint. Now I believe the average box lap, if you're starting on mediums, which a lot of the grid is, it's a split between mediums and hards. And that lap is probably going to be around lap 12 to maybe 14, I'd like to say. And it's FBI agent in the Alfa Romeo following Oliver B quite closely. And we've got TVX Buzz making a move past the weak Callum. They're gonna enable the DRS as Jesus crashes out at turn 16 right into the wall, and that enables a safety car. It's a golden opportunity to pit for some of the grid, but a lot of them have already gone past the checkered line. And now Jesus, I believe, smacking it into the wall of turn 16, really losing those hard tires, and that was a huge incident to lose them. I believe that was their rear tires and the front wing. And this might not be good for the people on the hard tires. They might have to divert to a 2-stop race. At least that's what I would do. If I did have a spare set of soft tires, I might just think about that. And we've got the top two with 3-second time penalties of their own. So that will definitely change the course of the race. And now a lot of people coming into pit lane. We've got 7th to 15th making a pit stop. Liam Wolf deciding to stay out. Yes, they are. They're staying out. They might just gain a few positions as Aston Martin and Alpine go across the pit exit line. And I believe that Alpine does come ahead of Alfa Romeo, who's still in P16. and safety car in this lap as we get prepared to restart the race. We've got most people in front on old hot tyres. Conan will be looking to make a move past quite quickly as Timmel opts for the two-stop strategy. Will that pay out for the Red Bull? They'll have to make some overtakes if they want to really score points this race. We've got Derdom now on the back of the Alpine. Will they go? They'll go now, and it looks like they got a good getaway, and Derdom might just be left in P2 as we've got F1 Rise on the tail of the Alfa Romeo. They're pulling closer and not close enough as we've got the Red Bull opting for the outside line, overtaking Wee Callum now as they're forced out wide as the Ferrari of TVX Buzz gets a time penalty. They're clearly not finding any grip at all on 12 lap old hard tyres as we've got F1 Rise ahead. I believe they went wide, or what was it? But we've got the Ferrari of TVX Buzz running wide again, and that allows Oliver B to go round the outside, being tapped wide, I believe that was, by the Red Bull. The Red Bull and Haas going 3 wide now, and the McLaren of Oliver squeezes on the inside as I believe that was the Alfa Romeo of FBI agent being tapped in the front wing as I believe they slow down, but we've got Conan Wine being spun round at turn 10, and I believe they fall to P16 because of this. But ahead we've got F1 Rise running wide, and now down to P14, it's safety car restart carnage as we've got Dom closing on Justifies ahead and looking to make a move as Conan and F1 Rise, they were high up and now falling. P15 and 16, Dom being forced out wide and now pulling ahead of the Alpine. The Alpine really can't fight that move as Timmel behind on soft tyres. They're gaining a lot of places and now behind their teammates who sorely have to let them through. And Timmel now being let through their teammate, and now the fight for P1 for the Red Bull driver escalates as we've got MCL Reckon behind Liam Wolf. They're on soft tyres, so they'll be hoping to get moved on quite quickly as TVX Buzz seems to be leading a train of cars right behind them. And we've got Oliver B looking down the inside of the AlphaTauri, but in the end not making a move. As we've got Timmel closing and closing to the back of Just 5, who seems to be losing some pace. And Alpine really riding the curb, and that is Just 5 being tapped by Timmel in the rear wing, and they have spun onto gravel because of it. I believe they were tapped on the rear wing by the Red Bull driver of Timmel, and they have spun round because of it. And they will not be happy about that at all, but MCL Reckon, I believe they're making a move on FBI agent. As ahead we've got Wee Callum, I believe they overtook back to put themselves in the podium spots. We've got these two fighting. It's Noveski Polak and Liam being forced out wide. And now Noveski trying to come back at the Williams driver. Nope, they're the Williams driver. They're trying to come back at the Alfa Romeo, who now drives into the side of Noveski Polak, being forced to the inside and now has spun out and now down in P14 for the Alfa Romeo, as we've got MCL Reckon on the outside of TVX Buzz. I believe they're going to make that move stick, although TVX Buzz does try to fight it for a moment. And now Timmel behind Dom and closing already. Could they make a move before the DRS zone? They've got better grip on soft tyres. Now trying to pull to the outside but not working. I believe they might just wait for some DRS, but Dom slows down and Wee Callum goes into the back of them as Wee Callum now joins the fight for P1. as Vax now goes into the pit. And now we've got the Williams without DRS. They're a second back to Wee Callum behind on the new soft tyres. And Wee Callum now takes the provisional lead of the Grand Prix. And F1 Rise setting the fastest lap time of the race on those new medium tyres. And Wee Callum will have a good run on the back of Timmel. They seem to be sticking behind the Red Bull like a magnet. And now Wee Callum will have a good chance at making a move up to P1 as FBI agent comes into pit lane. And Wee Callum ahead, close into the back of Timmel. But is it enough? They're going to be forced to the outside. And tapping the back of the Red Bull through turn 1. They seem to be sticking behind the Red Bull just for now. But the Red Bull running a bit too wide through turn 2. That leaves the door open for Wee Callum. As they're being forced to the outside again, the Red Bull has to divert from their line. And now Wee Callum tries to move down the inside. Not working as the Williams is spun round from behind. And that is Dom being spun round by the drivers behind, I believe it was. I believe it might have just been Oliver behind who spun him round through turn 6. And now we've got these three still fighting for P1. It's Wee Callum, Oliver B and Timmel currently in the lead. Is the Red Bull, but not full on as Wee Callum pulls to the inside of the Red Bull. And this invites Oliver to join the party. And the Red Bull adjusting their line, forcing Oliver the long way round. But they seem to have pulled the move off, and it is Oliver up to P2. And Wee Callum now taking the lead of the race. And those hards are going to have to last 11 more laps. That might just be quite a huge order. Now we have Oliver B. They're both on relatively new hard tyres. Oliver B is fighting for the lead and now have DRS and some ERS to play around with. About 30% going into main straight. Lahas seems to have got a better exit, but they might just be too close enough to prevent a move happening as Oliver pulls to the inside and past the Lahas driver. Timmel will try it down the inside, making a huge lunge for it, and banning rear tyres quite nearly with Wee Callum. As we've got Justifies being the next one to go into pit lane onto some new medium tyres, and they will come out just behind the Alfa Romeo and maybe behind the McLaren. Now we've got Timmel going into pit lane quite early to get rid of those soft tyres. But they might just be putting on the mediums now, or have they got another set of softs installed? Yes they do, and this is a super aggressive strategy from the Red Bull, and I cannot wait to see how... It seems to be a slow stop. No, that was just lag. Just lag, don't worry Red Bull fans. It was just a bit of good old lag. As MCL reckon they might come out behind Vax. Yes they will. And where will Timmel come out in all of this? They'll come out just behind the Alfa Romeo maybe. The Alfa Romeo is going to go round the outside of Timmel, and they will be behind all of this traffic, and they ideally want to clear this quite quickly. But Qatar isn't really an overtaking circuit, so you might just have to do it around one of the high-speed corners, which is very dangerous if Laza Driver doesn't see you. So Timmel has to be very careful now. It might just be a game of patience, which it normally is in F1. We've got Konen closing to the back of Nevsky Polak, both on 10 lap all hard tyres. The difference is Nevsky hasn't got a time penalty, which is very crucial around Qatar, if there is a late safety car especially. We've got YT Derdom still on those 20 lap old hard tyres, which is very impressive, but losing grip now. I believe any moment now they'll be coming into pit lane onto some new mediums or soft. You'll have to expect soft tyres. Maybe they were waiting out for a safety car, but not happening, as I believe Timmel got past the Alfa Romeo of FBI agent, and now will be looking towards TVX Buzz. But as I say that, they have got a 3-second time penalty. And let's just swap over to the penalty graphics, and they have got 6 seconds now. As well as Just Fighters also got 6 seconds, so that is definitely not helping their races. As Vax now being the next driver to get a penalty, it's 3 seconds for them. As we've got Roranger now in the pit lane. And it will surely be soft tyres. Yes, it will be for the AlphaTauri, so a lot of people going aggressive to the end. And CSTA play as Derdom actually stays out. As we've got Roranger now with a 3-second time penalty. As we've got FBI agent looking to make a move past TVX Buzz. Ahead of them we've got Timmel with some clean air to push ahead, and their teammate Vax is ahead of them currently, also on new medium tyres. Of course Timmel will have the pace advantage for now. We've got the top 3 crucially not on any penalties. We've got TVX Buzz now being overtaken by FBI agent, who seems to pull ahead with the DRS quite easily. We've got Kanen on the hill of Mr. Polak. Maybe they are a bit too far behind to make a move on the Williams, but quickly gaining is Mr. K. Wheeler, whose medium tyres will be running out quite shortly. We've got Vax, the driver, with 8.5 seconds to go to catch up to P6, who is on 23 lap old hard tyres. Still not pitting yet for Dom. And it looks like the one stop has been the way to go, as Timmel now gets another penalty. It's 9 seconds for the Red Bull driver, so really not a good showing for them. As we've got Dom finally coming into the pit lane, and maybe a bit too late, but it will be no surprise that they are stopping on soft tyres, at least I do hope so, for the Williams driver. And yes, those are soft tyres. 4 laps till the end of the race. And now we've got Vax gaining on the back of Mr. K. Wheeler, but it looks like a one stop has been the way to go around Qatar. Conan Wine still stuck on the tail of the Williams, but behind all of this, we've got Vax. It looks like they're a bit too far behind to try and make an overtake on Mr. K. Wheeler or maybe Conan, or one of the hard tyre runners at the end of the race. So they seem to be stuck in P6 for now. We've got yellow flags, as I believe that is F1 Rise. They haven't had the best day at all. And now 17 seconds behind P15. And Timmel now grabbing another 3 seconds of time penalties. And we have yellow flags being shown, and that is for Liam going slowly through sector 1 and 2, I believe now. Maybe having a little fight with F1 Rose, I don't know, maybe at the back for that crucial P15 spot. We've got TVX Buzz on the tail of FBI Agent, who seems to be losing grip on those now pretty old medium tyres, but TVX Buzz also on mediums. They've both got 3 seconds in time penalties, so FBI Agent, I believe backing off maybe, that opened the tail for TVX Buzz, and now on the final lap we are actually. For most drivers, and now TVX Buzz, it might be a final lap overtake for them as they open the DRS on the back of FBI Agent, and Raw Anger, who was running in P10, has now DNF'd from the session on the final lap, going into pit lane, and now TVX Buzz on the inside of FBI Agent, who seems to back out, and now down to P8 for the Alfa Romeo. And now Oliver B takes the checkered line. It's trial and tribulations for them as they win into McLaren, joined alongside Wee Callum and Nazeski Polak on the podium, as most drivers are now taking the checkered line, as we've got the Williams and all the people on the podium really have a lot of a race, both gaining 5 and 7 positions, and then there is Nazeski Polak who gained 10 positions, so it's lovely from the McLaren to win by 3 seconds here in Qatar, Tier 4. It's round 4, and this fully propels them to, I believe, well up the standings, let's say. And TVX Buzz in the end does win the fight with the Alfa Romeo, and they will finish the race in P7, Alfa Romeo in P8. And the McLaren driver takes the trophy, and it is P1 for them. They have kept it good, and it is a one-stop strategy for them, and it seems to be working, as all the drivers on the steps of the podium has done a one-stop. As you can see, Wee Callum actually done a two-stop. Didn't quite know about that. We've got Vax They did end up catching Mr. K. Wheeler in the end, and actually I believe that was on the last lap. They did overtake up to P5 for the Red Bull driver. And the Dom takes the fastest lap point, having stopped quite late in the race. And it looks like a one stop is the way to go around Qatar. And actually I will see you all later, maybe next week, as it is the end of the race, and Oliver B taking the win in the McLaren. Their teammate unfortunately down in P15, so not so great from the McLaren, but until next time.